What's up everybody, Dr. Daniel Ricciardi back here with another video. If you're watching this, you have successfully treated your SIBO and are feeling great. Congrats. If not, I'd suggest taking a look at my previous video, how I treated my SIBO. If you want to click the link here, you can view it. So I want to make this video because the recurrence rate of SIBO, unfortunately, is incredibly high. Depending on which statistics you look at, it's anywhere from 40 to 50%, give or take. Granted, a lot of these recurrences occur from people not really addressing the root cause and maybe just taking an antibiotic such as rifaximin. So depending on what they do, obviously the statistics can vary. So if you don't address the root cause of why the SIBO occurred in the first place, you're definitely prone to having a recurrence. This video I'm doing today is going to go over the supplement, diet, and lifestyle changes that I did and continue to do in order to keep SIBO at bay. So the first concept I'm going to talk about for preventing the recurrence of SIBO is supporting the MMC migrating motor complex. If you recall from my previous videos, briefly, the MMC are cleansing waves which sweep through the intestines completely, clearing it out of any food and other debris so it doesn't sit there, putrefy, become maldigested, and cause symptoms and potentially lead to SIBO. So this is especially important to do if you notice you had SIBO after a bout of food poisoning. In food poisoning, there's toxins released by the bacteria that cause it, which actually impair the nerves of the MMC, making it not perform its job properly. And this can actually last for years. So that's why it's incredibly important to support the MMC if you notice you had SIBO after food poisoning. My personal bout of SIBO was after a bout of food poisoning, which I didn't really connect to for years, but after learning about it, it made a lot more sense. A few products that I used after treating the SIBO and ongoing to prevent the recurrence. One was Iberogast, which are prokinetic drops, which support the movement of the MMC. I was doing 20 drops 20 drops 3 times a day, like one with each meal. And then eventually over the course of a year, every few months, I would decrease 5 drops. So I went 15, 10, 5. And I continued taking this for a year after I finished the antimicrobials. I did the same thing with ginger root, which is another prokinetic agent that supports the MMC as well. So you kind of have to go a little bit how it feels. Obviously, doing a year taper is just what worked for me. You can kind of choose what works for you as well. Second concept we're going to talk about. From having SIBO, your GI tract gets a lot of wear and tear on it. So you want to continue to heal the GI tract, specifically the small intestines. And we do that by supporting the mucus layer, which helps with digestion, absorption of food, and also prevents some inflammation by using mucilaginous herbs. There's a lot of different kinds. The one particular product I use was called GI-NCAP, ENCAP. It's made by Thorne. Again, there's a lot of good ones. This is just the one I used. Another product which helps resolve a lot of intestinal permeability and regrow the villi in the small intestines that absorb food is glutamine. So I did a small dose of glutamine. It was about 0.5 gram to 1 gram 3 times a day. I just used a powder and mixed it in a little bit of water and had it on an empty stomach. This glutamine product, I'd probably recommend avoiding it if you have trouble with anxiety, trouble sleeping, because it can exacerbate that and make it worse. Third up is digestive support supplements. At the end or toward the end of the antimicrobials, you're eventually going to want to add back in healthy bacteria. So adding some kind of probiotic. I can share the one here. I'll leave a photo. It's a low histamine probiotic, which just happens to, I feel, work best for me. Next up is digestive enzymes. Obviously, digestive enzymes are partially created in the small intestines. So with SIBO, there's a lot of damage to the small intestines, so there may be a lower production of the digestive enzymes. Note, digestive enzymes are also created partially in the pancreas as well. But I supported my digestive enzymes 1 capsule in the middle of each meal. I stopped doing it eventually, but I noticed there was some kind of food and some symptoms coming back a little bit. And when I continued to take the digestive enzymes, they actually keep them at bay. So I actually still take the digestive enzymes to this day. I just feel like it helps me. Next up, HCl betaine with pepsin. This is essentially a stomach acid booster. You'll be taking this probably most likely if you can tolerate it as you're taking the antimicrobials. I found that it was helpful to take for several months after I finished the antimicrobials. Eventually weaned off and noticed I didn't have any symptoms. But in the meantime, to support stomach acid, it may be a good idea. All right, and then the fourth concept we'll go over is maintaining great eating hygiene. And talking about this, you can actually refer to a handbook that I made if you wanted to see some 7 really good tips for how to boost digestion, prevent gas bloating symptoms without taking any pills or without spending any money. So there'll be the link in the description below. A few of them I'll touch on briefly, which are going to be some stuff that you'll find in the handbook. Have as little liquid as you can during meals. And this again is to make sure your stomach acid is strong and able to digest the food well. The more liquids you drink, the less well your digestion will be. Not overeating ties in with having strong stomach acid as well. If there's too much food to digest, the stomach acid won't be able to get to it, and it'll kind of sit in your stomach longer and can eventually cause SIBO or other symptoms over time. Chewing well is incredibly important. Remember, food you eat, your body is tasked with having to break it down into microscopic sized pieces, digest it, and absorb it. If you're swallowing large chunks of food you barely chewed, your body has to try to deal with it, and it's probably not going to do a good job of doing it. And then de-stressing is the last sub point I'll talk on. If you're stressed out while you're eating, regardless of what it's from, your digestive secretions, stomach acid, digestive enzymes, bile, they can all be decreased by over 50%. So if you're constantly stressed while you're eating all the time, and then especially while you're eating, you can imagine over time, this can definitely lead to a SIBO recurrence. So that's all I have in this video. Ultimately, find what works best for you. These tactics are stuff that I did after my SIBO and then still continue to do some of them. I would recommend making small changes at a time. Add or subtract one thing, then you really get to know how each addition or subtraction of a supplement, lifestyle process, whatnot, really is affecting you. Notice how each change affects your body, and then don't be discouraged if you do have to add something back. Again, I tried to discontinue digestive enzymes. I ended up having to add them back. Maybe at some point I'll try to discontinue them again, but in the meantime, I'd rather take one more supplement like that every day and feel good than have a recurrence of SIBO. So I think it's a small price to pay. That is all I have for this video. Let me know if you have any comments or questions below, and drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.